At the end of the day, again, the House Republican plan makes sure that we bring private capital back into this equation, which is the most important thing we can do going forward, and to hold the people accountable and let Wall Street pay.
No, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to put reasonable regulations in place. Eric gave this great talk about the free market, and they have done a lot of good, but it is the free market on its own, by over-leveraging, by
Barney, this started with
excuse me, Eric, please don't interrupt me. Eric, I'm sorry. Eric, don't interrupt me. The financial deregulation didn't start with them. Let me give you one last fact to go with then. 1994, the Democratic Congress, the last one before now, passed a bill that told the Federal Reserve, restrict subprime mortgages that are being done outside of banks, which are regulated. Restrict the unregulated subprime mortgages. Alan Greenspan, a strong conservative, said, no, the market knows better than I, and refused to do it. It wasn't until 2007, when we came back, that we were able to put some pressure on, and Ben Bernanke, to his credit, promulgated the rule that Greenspan wouldn't do it, and there'll be no more subprime mortgages.
Congressman Cantor, go ahead and respond.
Wolf, at the end of the day, the Carter administration, we saw Congress put into law regulations requiring banks to extend credit to non-credit-worthy borrowers. In fact, the banks would be punished under
You're talking about the Jimmie Carter? Hold on a second. Congressman Cantor, you're talking about the Jimmie Carter administration?
We're talking about Congress during the 70s put into place some regulation that would punish banks if they did not extend credit to some uncredit-worthy borrowers. And what we had then is we had the government leading in terms of trying to push the lending to folks so they could buy housing when the creditworthiness was not there. And obviously, Barney, I'd agree that the private sector followed suit. But it all started with the fact that we had these government-sponsored entities there beginning to loosen underwriting guidelines that got us to where we are. So we do need some re-regulation.
Let me respond here, because I'm very disappointed that Eric would characterize efforts to prevent racial discrimination.
Absolutely.
Eric, let me finish. You made your accusation, and it's wrong. The Community Reinvestment Act never said you had to lend to unworthy borrowers. The anti-discrimination things never said that. They said you can't discriminate. You can't walk away from whole neighborhoods. But even with that, again, you're ignoring the point. 1994, Congress did pass a law saying, wait a minute, we're afraid that the wrong kind of mortgages were getting issued. Alan Greenspan refused to use the authority. If he'd used the authority, as Ben Bernanke did, Greenspan being a great deregulator, we would have shut this off way before the problem got to the dimensions it did.
Wolf, at the end of the day, it was Congress 20-some years ago that set the bar here and said, you know what, we're going to loosen underwriting guidelines for good intentions to let people aspire to the American dream.
We never did that.
Ownership. And at the end of the day, what happened is the regulations went wild and really began to punish institutions if they weren't able to demonstrate that they had these bad loans out there issued.
There's terrible history here. Yeah, the bill passed in '77. The regulations were mostly promulgated after that by the Reagan administration. But again, it is true people were worried about that. In 1994, you keep ignoring this, Eric. Congress told Alan Greenspan to try and have it so that creditworthy African Americans and Hispanics and people in poor neighborhoods got it, and not others. And Greenspan, as a true conservative, said, the market knows better and I won't do it.
Unfortunately, we are out of time.